The natural world is full of wonder, from the smallest insects to the largest whales. But the human world too holds its share of marvels. Join me, if you will, as we journey to the very limits of human ability, to witness feats of strength, endurance, and sheer determination. These are the world records that may never be broken. Chapter Fastest 100m Sprint. Chapter 1. Title: Fastest 100m Sprint. Chapter Fastest 100m Sprint. Chapter 1. Chapter 1. The fastest 100-meter sprint. Usain Bolt, the name that echoes through stadiums and across continents. In just under 10 seconds, Bolt became a living legend, his feet barely touching the ground as he blazed past the finish line. The crowd held its breath, time seemed to slow, and yet, in that fleeting moment, history was made. Truly, it's a record that feels almost untouchable. Chapter Longest Free Solo Climb. Chapter 2. Title: Longest Free Solo Climb. Chapter Longest Free Solo Climb. Chapter 2. Chapter 2. The Longest Free Solo Climb. Alex Honnold, a man whose courage and focus defy belief, stood before a sheer vertical cliff, relying on nothing but his hands, feet, and unbreakable will. Each movement was a delicate dance with gravity, every breath measured. As he reached the summit, the world watched in awe, aware that this was a feat few would dare to even imagine, let alone attempt. Chapter Deepest Ocean Dive. Chapter 3. Title: Deepest Ocean Dive. Chapter Deepest Ocean Dive. Chapter 3. Chapter 3. The Deepest Ocean Dive. Victor Vescovo descended into the abyss, farther than any human before him, venturing into the silent darkness miles beneath the waves. The pressure was immense, the unknown all around, yet his resolve never wavered. As he touched the ocean's deepest point, he set a record that honestly seems almost impossible to surpass. Chapter Most Marathons Run Consecutively. Chapter 4. Title: Most Marathons Run Consecutively. Chapter Most Marathons Run Consecutively. Chapter 4. Now let's talk about an absolutely mind-blowing feat of endurance. Imagine running a marathon every single day, not just for a week or a month, but for hundreds of days in a row. It's almost hard to believe, right? Yet there are people out there who have pushed their bodies and minds to this incredible limit, proving that with determination and grit, the impossible can become possible. Chapter Highest Vertical Jump by a Human. Chapter 5. Title: Highest Vertical Jump by a Human. Chapter Highest Vertical Jump by a Human. Chapter 5. Alright, next up is something that really defies gravity. The highest vertical jump ever recorded by a human. We're talking about someone launching themselves upward with such explosive power it's like they're flying, even if just for a moment. This record isn't just about raw strength, it's about perfect timing, technique, and a whole lot of training. Seriously, it's pretty inspiring to see what the human body is capable of when pushed to its limits. Chapter Heaviest Weight Ever Lifted. Chapter 6. Title: Heaviest Weight Ever Lifted. Chapter Heaviest Weight Ever Lifted. Chapter 6. And finally, let's take a look at sheer jaw-dropping strength, the heaviest weight ever lifted by a person. We're not just talking about a heavy barbell at the gym, but a weight so massive, it almost seems unreal. This record stands as a testament to the extraordinary capabilities of human power and perseverance, reminding us that sometimes, limits are just there to be broken. Chapter Longest Time Holding Breath Underwater. Chapter 7. Title: Longest Time Holding Breath Underwater. Chapter Longest Time Holding Breath Underwater. Chapter 7. Chapter 20. Chapter Tallest Living Animal. Chapter 8. Title: Tallest Living Animal. Chapter Tallest Living Animal. Chapter 8. Tallest Living Animal. Chapter Oldest Living Human. Chapter 9. Title: Oldest Living Human. Chapter Oldest Living Human. Chapter 9. The Oldest Living Human, including the name of the person who achieved the record. Chapter Largest Gathering of People. Chapter 10. Title: Largest Gathering of People. Chapter Largest Gathering of People. Chapter 10. Imagine, if you will, the largest gathering of people ever recorded. It's honestly hard to fathom the sheer number of individuals coming together in one place, united by a common purpose. The energy, the excitement, and the collective spirit, it's something truly extraordinary. Chapter Longest Distance Swum Without Fins. Chapter 11. Title: Longest Distance Swum Without Fins. Chapter Longest Distance Swum Without Fins, Chapter 11. Now picture someone plunging into the water determined to swim the longest distance ever, and doing it all without the help of fins. Stroke after stroke, each movement is a test of endurance and willpower. The tension builds with every meter as the swimmer pushes further than anyone before defying limits and expectations. Chapter Highest Skydive, Chapter 12, title Highest Skydive. Chapter Highest Skydive, Chapter 12. And finally, consider the courage it takes to attempt the highest skydive ever. Leaping from the edge of the sky, falling through thin air, it's a feat that demands not just skill, but also an unshakable spirit. The descent is breathtaking, both in altitude and in sheer bravery. Chapter, Most Languages Spoken by One Person, Chapter 13. Title, Most Languages Spoken by One Person. Chapter, Most Languages Spoken by One Person, Chapter 13. You know, it's pretty amazing to think about how some people can speak not just a few but dozens of languages fluently. The record for the most languages spoken by a single person is truly mind-blowing. It really shows just how much dedication, curiosity, and passion for communication a person can have. Chapter Longest Fingernails Ever Recorded, Chapter 14. Title, Longest Fingernails Ever Recorded. Chapter Longest Fingernails Ever Recorded, Chapter 14. Okay, so let's talk about something a little unusual. The longest fingernails ever recorded. It's kind of hard to imagine, but some people have let their nails grow for decades, reaching lengths that are almost unbelievable. It takes a lot of patience and, honestly, a lot of commitment to pull that off. Chapter Largest Animal Ever Recorded, Chapter 15. Title, Largest Animal Ever Recorded. Chapter Largest Animal Ever Recorded, Chapter 15. And finally, let's wrap up with the largest animal ever recorded. It's incredible to think about just how massive some creatures on our planet can get. Thanks for joining us on this journey through some of the most fascinating world records ever set. We hope you learned something new and had a bit of fun along the way. Chapter Fastest Land Animal, Chapter 16, Title Fastest Land Animal. Chapter Fastest Land Animal, Chapter 16, Unbreakable. Chapter Longest Time Spent in Space, Chapter 17, Title Longest Time Spent in Space. Chapter Longest Time Spent in Space, Chapter 17. We've traveled the globe from the dizzying heights of human achievement to the quiet corners where records are broken in a single fleeting moment. Chapter Largest Structure Built by Animals, Chapter 18, Title Largest Structure Built by Animals. Chapter Largest Structure Built by Animals, Chapter 18. These are the stories that remind us of the extraordinary potential that lies within us all. Chapter Most Consecutive Push-Ups, Chapter 19, Title Most Consecutive Push-Ups. Chapter Most Consecutive Push-Ups, Chapter 19. The drive to push beyond the limits to achieve the impossible. Chapter Longest Migration by an Animal, Chapter 20, Title Longest Migration by an Animal. Chapter Longest Migration by an Animal, Chapter 20. Chapter 20. The record for the longest migration by an animal belongs to the Arctic tern. Imagine, year after year, this remarkable bird embarks on an epic journey from the Arctic all the way to the Antarctic and back again. It's a breathtaking feat of endurance and determination, and honestly, witnessing such a journey, it's hard not to feel a sense of awe at the tenacity and spirit of this tiny traveler. We've traveled the globe, from the dizzying heights of human achievement, to the quiet corners where records are broken in a single fleeting moment. These are the stories that remind us of the extraordinary potential that lies within us all. The drive to push beyond the limits to achieve the impossible. Which of these records amazed you the most? Let us know in the comments.